Hey everyone, what's up and welcome back to another artist coaching podcast episode, or if you're watching the video, another video from my side. It's me, JoeySuki, back again with some knowledge from the music industry. And today I want to go deeper into a certain subject, and it's about the rules of music production. For those who are following me online on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you might have probably seen a picture from me, like a nice quote uploaded yesterday with the quote on it. The most important rule about music production is that there are no rules. And in this episode, I want to go deeper into that. And why I came on that subject is because yesterday I had a really nice call with Mark Otten. For those who don't know Mark Otten, he's the teacher of Martin Garrix. He's also in one of the documentary series you can see online. But he actually teaches Martin Garrix on Hammer Broad Academy, and he's a producer himself as well. So we just went through a lot of things that I was struggling with when I was a producer, and the things he was struggling with when he was a producer. And one of the things that came back on top of mind was the rules that you actually have to encounter when you're producing. So that's why I want to go deeper into that subject today, because I think this will be valuable to a lot of people. At least I hope it will, because I know to me it was. Let me tell you a bit more about my story. So how I found out that the rules don't really matter, actually. When I started out producing, not DJing, but producing, I just started making music, and without any boundaries in my head, without any rules, I just started making music. The things that I liked, the things that I wanted to hear, were the things that I started to put out. And the fun thing about that is that you have like a complete empty palette, like a painter, you know? It's a completely empty sheet, and you can fill in everything the way you want to fill it in. So I started doing that, and I started to create music. But then came the point where I went to a certain music school here in the Netherlands called the Rock Academy, which is a really great school actually. Like, I'm not gonna say anything bad about it because it's a great school. But I went to that school, and it's the same school where Hardwell went, Frank Rizardo went there, Firebeats went there. It's this big kind of college, music college here in the Netherlands, where a lot of DJs went and bands as well. So I applied there, I did some tests, and I finally got accepted because it's pretty hard to get in there. And it was a full-time school, you know, like from Monday till Friday, from like, let's say 9 till 5, you had to work on school, music actually, so kind of sounds like the dream, right? And especially the first year, it was the dream. Because before I went to that school, I didn't even know how to read notes. I couldn't even play the piano. All the things I was doing was just by hearing and listening to the things I was doing, and listening if I liked what I heard, actually. So it wasn't completely based on factual things or kind of rules that you might say. And when I went to the Rock Academy, a funny thing happened. I started to learn a lot about music theory, so I started to learn about how to play the piano, I started to learn about how to read notes, and I started to learn about music production. So how does compression work, how does limiting work, how does EQing works, and why should you compress a sound, why should you master your sound. All those kind of things were things that came by in that process, and were things that I learned during that year. It was a really intense year because, like I said, I couldn't read any note, or I couldn't play any instrument from the beginning on. So it took me a lot of time to learn all that material and to actually get it into practice. But I managed to do that eventually, and it's still really valuable to me right now, because now when I make music, I actually know what I'm doing. Back then, so I think it's about 8 years ago. It's quite a long time. Back then, I noticed it actually held me back instead of that it helped me. Let me explain to you why. Before I went to that school, I was making music without any boundaries, just by creating the things that I would like to hear. So there are no rules. You just do whatever you feel like you need to do. And to me, that's what making art, music, is all about. Doing the thing you want to do and creating something that you think should be created. So that was what I was doing before I entered the school. Then, when I entered the school, I got all certain kinds of rules, which felt to me like I was put into this little box. Like they put boundaries around me. Like, you can't do this, you have to do this, learn how to do this, otherwise it's not right enough, blah, 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 blah. And all those little rules, so compression, limiting, EQing, certain kind of notes that didn't work together that well, but sometimes it sounded nice, but theoretically they shouldn't supposed to be there together. All those kind of rules eventually led to me getting a creative block. And that's because all those rules were blocking me in every possible way. And that's something I found out after I left school, and I felt like, hey, something changed. Like, first I was enjoying the process of making music, and first everything just runs smoothly. And now that I know more as an artist, I might actually think that it should help me, but eventually it actually started blocking me. So knowing more about music production didn't necessarily help me to become a better producer. Of course, in some kind of way it did, because now I can read notes and now I know how to use compression and limiting. But in the creative process, so creating the melodies and stuff, it really blocked me because I started to think in rules and not in opportunities. And I started to think in boundaries actually and not in opportunities. To me, that's been a really hard time because it's a creative block, and as an artist you need to make music, otherwise you can't be an artist, simple as that. So to me that period was really hard, but eventually when I found out what the problem was, the rules, the boundaries that I've created myself by learning more about music production, I actually had to retrain myself to let go of those boundaries. And of course, every now and then when you run into a challenge with your music production and you say like, oh shit, this sound isn't really sounding like I want it to sound, and maybe I can fix it with compression because I know how it works, or maybe I can fix it with EQ. That's where the knowledge comes in handy. But in the creative process, so melody writing and stuff, I still believe that the most important thing about music production is that there are no rules. Why? Because the only thing that matters is how your track sounds eventually. So how does the melody sound? Let's say you've created a chord, and that chord contains 3 notes. But theoretically, one of those notes is kind of off key. But if you listen to it, it actually sounds well. It actually sounds nice. So don't let yourself hold back by deleting that key and taking it back into the normal standard. No, listen to what you're actually hearing and try to use that in your track. The rules aren't always right. And of course, it's useful to know a lot about music production, but it's not always useful to use it while you're in the creative process of music production. So learn from this, please, and don't make the same mistake as I did, as in don't try to create music within the boundaries that you've learned throughout the years, but always remember that all the things you do in a music production process, all the things you do, all the melodies that you create, all the techniques that you use, the only thing that matters is how the end product sounds. So how the fan on the other side of the DJ booth is going to listen to your track, because he doesn't know if your track is compressed or if your kick is being panned to the left or whatever. They don't know all the professional stuff that you know. The only thing they do know is, do I like this track? Yes or no? Do I like the vocal? Can I sing along with the melody? The simple kind of things that we tend to forget as a producer. That's the most important thing for the fans. So don't let yourself, don't pull yourself back in the production process and block yourself with all those rules and stuff, but just create something that you think is beautiful, put it out there and see what the rest of the world thinks of it. So, like I said, this was a topic I wanted to address today. I think it's a really important subject, especially when you're struggling with the production process right now. If you feel like you're having a creative block or whatever, I hope this was useful to you, and I hope this helps you to get out of that creative block and to start making music again. That's actually all I want to say today. And another thing I want to say is, if you still aren't a member of the Artist Coaching Facebook community group, it's this Facebook group where I think almost 600 people right now. Like 600 DJs and producers are members of, and we're actually like sharing knowledge there, giving feedback to each other on their tracks, and it's been great to see that group growing in a really fast tempo. So if you still aren't a member, it's free, so just request access on my Facebook page and I will add you to that group. Hopefully that's useful to you as well. Guys, I hope this works for you. I hope this will get you out of your creative block and get your production process way more effective. Thanks again for checking my video, or the guys who are listening to the podcast right now. I see you guys next time. Bye. Hey guys, what's up? First of all, thanks for watching my content. Thanks for listening to the podcast and watching the videos. It means a world to me. You guys have been talking me about coaching and personal coaching for a while now, but I just thought it was a good idea to show you some experiences of my clients to see what a personal coach and a mentor could do for you and your career. So here are a few user stories, client stories from my side. Hopefully it's useful to you.
So what problem did I had? I got supported on TSO's Club Life and I really didn't know like what to do or where to start. Before this, I went into my social media strategies, blah, blah. I posted like some things. I made music. I've been doing music for 4 to 5 years. And that was that was what I was doing. So I was like, this is a business. I really need to get help from someone that is knowledgeable enough and that has made it in the industry. I saw some videos of the coaching sessions from Joey, and I really liked them. And yeah, I just approached him. He was really kind and really humble, and then we just started the coaching sessions. I found out that you really need a solid plan, and you need someone that is competent enough as Joey. So from his coaching sessions, I found out that it's really important to know what to do and to know like how the industry works, and the best person that can give you that advice is going to be Joey. So number 3, what specific part do you like the most? I like the part how the classes work. The classes work very organically. Personally for me, I have at the moment a one-to-one session. I think Joey is super cool. He's super open to any questions that you have. He's always willing to help you. So that's the part that I like the most, the way the classes work. They're very, very cool, and I will recommend it to anyone. First of all, having a long-term, a mid-term, and a short-term plan. That's very important. Knowing really how to network, and third of all, it will be making or building those long-term relationships. As you may know, the music industry is a business, and we communicate with other people. So it's really important to build relationships, and Joey has really taught me how to do that. I would really recommend coaching to other artists. It has been very, very helpful for me personally. At the end, now I'm starting to see my music career as a business, and because of this, I'm like, of course, like you're investing some budget for the classes, but I'm seeing in return some results. So this is working for me. It has been a great experience. I've been getting great results so far. So I would absolutely recommend it to anyone. It's one of the best decisions that I've made in my career. Once again, I think the classes have been great. I think you need someone that knows what he's doing, that has the experience that Joey has. So I would really recommend taking the coaching sessions to other artists. I found out that without what he has been telling me, I would be like wandering around for years. So yeah, now I have a solid plan and I know what to do.